Hello, and welcome to A Girl, a Guy, and a Movie. Today's episode is going to revolve around me and Janet discussing the 1960 something movie, Fistful of Dollars. I believe this is 1964, but this was actually released in the States in 1967 here. And the reason why was that they were kind of scared at first. Do you study about this movie, Janet, or do you need to hear the story?
Go ahead. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so this movie is based off of Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa,
Hmm.
and they were a little worried when they released it. They're like, we can't put this in American audience, films. We can't put this in the theater houses. This has to be, shown to people, kind of like a back alley or like a church congregation or somewhere where you didn't pay for a movie. Because the moment that Akira Kurosawa finds out about this, he's going to come after you with lawyers, and that's kind of what happened. Uh, Kira's like, "Yeah, this is really a good movie. It's not your film though, Sergio. It's mine." And so they literally had to write the guy like for 15% of the box office from American audiences, and he made more money. Akira Kurosawa made more money with this film than with what he made with Yojimbo. Just think about that. He had a really good movie, Yojimbo, good samurai film,
Hmm.
and everybody knew that the American samurai or the American cowboy movies kind of inspired the late 50s and 60s samurai films. And so they change it back and they make this spaghetti western out in Italy. It's kind of funny because poor Sergio Leone, he didn't speak a lot of English there, so there was interpreters, unpaid interpreters, uncredited interpreters for him to get things over to Clint Eastwood. But he pays out Akira Kurosawa 15% of this movie just to shut him up and be like, I like your film. I'll do this again if I can because I like the money.
Hmm.
And Akira made more money with this than what he did with his own movie. So, hello, Travis. Welcome to the show. Today we're streaming with Janet. Janet, you dressed up like Marianne Koch, am I correct?
Well, I'm just dressed up as a woman from maybe from there. Uh, I didn't, really have anything exactly like her outfit or anything, so I just thought I'd, you know, dress like there was it one of the things I noticed there wasn't really any women. There was two women that actually spoke, and then after the fire, the big fire broke out,
Hmm.
because when he first walked up to the or rode the horse into the town, it was like two buildings. So I was like, this is the town. I didn't understand it. And he drank from the well. uh, I thought that was funny, and it wasn't until almost over halfway through the movie when there's a fire that you see women and other people running around with buckets trying to put out a fire. The city or the town was burning. So I thought that was funny, and I could see why they were able to make the movie with such a small budget, because they just really didn't have that many sets, and they didn't have that many actual actors in it. So you didn't have to have a lot of costumes and all that different stuff. So I can see why. I don't know what the budget was for sure for this, but I really did enjoy it simply because it was a movie that gave people what they wanted. Basically, it gave them a hero. You know what I mean? A happy ending, someone to cheer for, to root for. Even though he was an anti-hero, more like I think we talked about that a little bit, more like Wolverine or Deadpool, where he did good things, but he did it more for himself than he did for the people. But he redeemed himself at the end, because to a small degree, because when you saw him go through and trying to find out what the gold was that they sold, and he took two bags. Remember, he took two bags, and he looked at him and was like, yeah, and he took them, he stashed them in his shirt or whatever. Later he gave one of the bags to the woman, and her kid and her husband for them to get away. So he did keep one for himself. So he still made money uh, at the end, but he did do a good things. He did good things. So he wasn't the typical, what you'd call like John Wayne character, where,
Mhm.
everything he did was good because he did shoot people. Uh, when it was best suited for him, that type of thing. So, but it was really, really a good movie. I like the fact that you had the people rooting for him and not for the bad people that are in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that part of
I
it.
mean, I do gotta say, I gotta kind of quip here. Um, this movie is not about a good guy. This movie is about an anti-hero.
Hmm.
This movie is about a dick that he comes to town and he sees that there's two noble families that are there engaged in financial warfare, and he says, "I'm going to make money here." And that's his entire focus throughout the entire film. He only came here to make money. That's it.
Well, you remember the part when he rides up on his horse and he looks around. It's all desert, really dusty and dirty, and you see the two white buildings that are made with rock, and you see the little boy, running across. So there's families, because it has to be families or something, because there's a little boy, right? But then he goes and he drinks out of the well, and you see him looking around, and he's kind of thinking. You could see his mind ticking about, how can I make money here? You could see he's thinking that because he looks like a bad outlaw or something like that. But then all of a sudden, you see this beautiful woman in the window, and you see him perk up. His eyes get bigger, and he kind of looks at her, and he's kind of smiling at her, and she just kind of gives him a stare and then shuts the shutter. She doesn't really acknowledge that, she's thankful he's in town or anything. He's just another outlaw from the way she reacts to him. So I kind of like that, because then you kind of get a feeling that he's not there, uh, wearing the sheriff's badge or ranger badge or anything like that. He's not there gonna do good. He's there for whatever way he can make a few bucks. So I thought that was a really good opening for the movie, because you don't really know what's going to happen, but now you know that there's a potential love interest at the very beginning, even though later on it pans out that she was basically being held against her will, and who knows what was happening to her. And I'm going to bring up the same thing I brought up when I brought up the whole thing with Bad Girls that you hated. But the reason I wanted to do Bad Girls was because of the whole way they treated women. You know, hold on, I'm trying to find my notes real quick. Give me a second. Oh, Bart, how did I misplace it?
Mm-hmm.
That's not it. I know I'm not. I'm talking to myself.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just give me a second. Uh, Bart, go ahead. You can talk for a minute while I try to find my notes. I don't know what I did with them.
I'm just having fun over here, trying to get this lizard guy, this either lizard or frogman painted up, and we'll have him make an appearance next time on a Saturday. So I thought this movie was just a stroke of genius from start to finish. I can't find anything really to complain about really loudly. Uh, if you guys see Shadow, let me know when he's in here. Yeah, the score from Bad Girls is actually one of the high watermarks of the show. I just don't like the show. I the choreography is a little off. The ladies are about as good of actors as the girls, the bad girls from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I want to draw a direct parallel between that, because you got these ladies trying to be bad girls, and then you got this movie with Jay and Silent Bob, and they run into a team of jewelry and diamond thieves, bad girls, with Ali Larder kind of at the helm, and boy, does she rip one at the end.
Well,
Um,
The reason I did Bad Girls is because people don't realize that back then, women were not, they were nothing but property. We hear a lot of people bitching and moan about the Muslim religion and how they treat women right now, today. Okay. Well, guess what? Back then, a woman wasn't even considered as valuable as a horse. If you stole someone's horse back in that time that this movie is set in, you could be hung for it. But if you stole a woman and raped her and beat her, even a young woman, it was nothing. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. A woman was worth nothing. If a woman was married and her husband was killed in a gunfight or whatever, and she had a home, she'd lose everything. And the only way she'd be able to survive is to become a prostitute or live in the street, basically, or a whim of other people, or marry another guy, some old geezer or whoever was available, because she would have nothing. She was considered nothing. That's one reason why I like the movie Bad Girls, is because it showed four women that were prostitutes trying to fight their way out of being prostitutes and start their own business, which was a sawmill, whatever type thing. That's the premise that I had behind the movie, and why I wanted us to watch it. But that's the same thing in this movie. Uh, the woman that's in here that's doing things is because she's married to a wealthy man, and the wealthy man makes her able to be able to do things and to make deals with some evil guys, even though, because she is very smart, she's very intelligent, and she's lucky she had a man that loved her. Because back then, if you wanted a woman, you could just take one. They didn't really care. It's just not any much different than the women that be out picking in fruit and vegetables or looking for food for her family, and some guy clobs her over the head with a rock and takes her back to his cave, and he can do whatever he wants because she's nothing. She's basically nothing more than a piece of meat, basically. So I like the fact that they they portray that, basically, with the one woman that has been taken. She's a mother. She had a husband, but because this bad guys in this one group had enough guns, they were just able to take this woman and force her against her will to perform whatever sickening acts this one guy that kidnapped her for, because he threatened to, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to kill your kid. You know, so she did. She just did. She did whatever she was told, because she's nothing but a piece of meat that cared whether her son lived. So it's disgusting, that part of it, and that's why I love that when you know the history about real facts about that type of thing and about women in that time. You root for Clint Eastwood's character simply because you want to see these men get what they deserve, because they're scum, they're disgusting. And even though Clint Eastwood's character is a outlaw, basically, the way he thinks, and he's able to finagle the money, the gold, away from these guys and get them, the two groups, to fight each other so he don't have to, basically, uh, it proves that he's a bad guy, really an outlaw, but he's not scum because he doesn't treat the woman that way. He didn't treat any of the women bad. He, when the time was right, he was able to save the woman and give her son back to her, and give him a bag of gold and tell him to get the hell out of Dodge, go back over the border and go into Texas. So I love that. I thought that was a very redeeming in the eyes of the viewers, especially women or people that knew history about how women really were treated. It makes you feel good. It makes you glad you're rooting for the anti-hero, basically. So I loved it. I thought the movie was really good, and the way that they were able to get you to root for him, even though you knew he wasn't all good. I love that part of it. So I'll shut up and let you go. That was the note that I was trying to find to make sure I.
And I'm so frustrated because I was looking for a meme that I could put up on screen, and it's like this guy. It's like, I keep getting badgered by everybody because I'm sexist and I don't value women. I'm tired of y'all. I'm just gonna pack my things and leave. And it shows him with two duffels, and
Yeah.
there's two women sticking their heads out of the duffel bags.
Hmm. Oh, no, I didn't see that. But that's funny. I mean, I like to laugh and stuff myself, because in today's world, especially in America, women do have rights, and women have just as much right to be a scum sucking pig as a man does.
Henny called
So,
her. is a
So,
fucking great movie.
mhm.
And that is a Burt Kennedy film from 1971 with Raquel Welch, Bob Culp, and Ernest Borgnine. We'll have to watch that one of these days when we're not doing Clint Eastwood films, but we're going to do Clint Eastwood films on this channel for about 17 weeks.
Oh,
Because
you didn't say it was gonna be that long. You said a month.
season, season,
Oh,
I want to do a season of Clint. We've got so much Clint
so
Eastwood to
we're
go
gonna do a
over.
whole season of all the movies I picked. Then after this,
I'll go through the list and be like, all right, we'll give Janet 4 weeks, blah
I'm
blah blah.
kidding.
But
That's okay.
no, because there's going to be a lot of bridges. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's not like Dirty Harry. We've got Bridges of Madison County. We've got Gran Torino. We've got so many
Yeah, that's
quality
one of the ones
films.
I picked. Was Bridges over Madison
I
County.
never heard about it until after you started talking about it,
So
like
it's
last week.
good. I think it's good.
It's a movie that everybody I know says, "Oh, that is such a good Clint Eastwood movie. He has such a heart." And all I think of is Jack Nicholson whenever he's like in What Women Want, and they're like, "How do you write women so well?" I think of a man. I take away reason and accountability, and it's just like the lady. She didn't quite get the joke,
Hmm.
but the rest of us, the audience, got the joke. Oh God, no, 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 no! Watch that shit. You're gonna hear from my microphone. I'm melting. Um, Banditas isn't bad. It's not bad. It's got Simon Hayek and that other girl that whenever she speaks English, her lips flap like a roast beef sandwich. I'm just saying Penelope Cruz should just speak Spanish. She doesn't look right when she speaks English.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll have to watch a Penelope Cruz
Uh,
movie one of these
I've
days, and
totally
you'll
gone.
like
I don't. Okay, whatever
her,
you say.
her shit just flaps. Her mouth, it does that the whole
Who?
time. Penelope Cruz.
Oh, okay. I remember
She
you talking about
doesn't know how to speak English. She's horrible at it, and then they keep making her do it, and it's just like,
because she's pretty and men like her.
in maybe another world.
Apparently.
But I've never heard any of my friends say, "Hey, Bruce, I turned off the internet last night. I popped in the VHS movie Vanilla Sky, and I fapped every time I saw Penelope Cruz on screen." I've not heard that yet. I've never heard that.
Well, I've never heard a guy say Penelope Cruz is one ugly woman. Never heard
I
that.
don't think she's attractive. I don't.
Well, most dark-headed women really don't get that much play as all the blonde women do in Hollywood either. So,
If okay, Janet,
Melanie Griffith is a crappy actress. Yet I heard lots of guys talking about her all the time just because she was pretty. So, and other actresses were way better.
I use Melanie Griffith as like a, a barometer of how shitty your acting is. She is. She's the barometer. Like, did you watch that movie? Could you stand it when that girl was trying to do something? Yeah, she was for Melanie Griffiths. That's exactly what the fuck she is.
Because I had a bunch of my friends saying, "Oh, Working Girl was so good," and when I did see some of it, I was like, "I have no idea who they're talking about because it's not her. I don't
Yeah,
think she's a very good actress."
yeah. I I love this movie, Padre. This film right here. When he gets into town and Silvanito allows him to have some food, and Clint's like, I can't pay. He's like, it's a gift. He's just wanting somebody to come and help with their situation because the town's in trouble. They're in real trouble, and it
And it was nice. Also, I'm going to interrupt for a second before you get past this. It's a town in trouble, but it was nice because they let a couple of the characters that had been in this town for many, many years rise to the top and prove that their manliness because they actually had someone there that they felt they could lean on that would help them. like the one bartender guy and the adorable guy that made the coffins and stuff. I love him. I don't remember seeing him in anything else, but he was good. He was a great man, realizing that this person's going to help clean up my town. You know, the one a town that I've been in for many years and made a living off of. This guy's going to actually make it to where people can live in it. You know what I mean? That perspective I just thought was really good. Even though he was not really a hero, he was an anti-hero. He was basically started out doing it for himself. But because these guys were such scumbags, and seeing the way that they were treating this woman and her son, because when he's standing outside that one saloon, and you hear the little boy saying he wanted to see his mama and all that stuff, I started getting choked up. But you could see the look on his face that, you know, I got to do something about this. I don't know what, but it made him start thinking. You could see that he was planning to do something because he wanted this son to be able to be with his mother, that whole thing. And I really liked that. I loved it. It made the people watching it cheering inside, and probably even at the movie theater, for this character to be successful and kill everyone. You know, like we were talking about the whole thing about the what was it, Hayes Code or whatever it was, about sex and stuff in movies. The whole thing about not being able to watch a person shoot or kill, you know, shoot a gun at one person on camera at the same time the person's getting shot. And I loved it because I was rooting for these people, even though when you saw the guy with the Gatling gun, you know, shooting all those Mexican soldiers, you didn't see a drop of blood on any of them, no squibs, nothing going off. And they were falling and jumping back and doing their best job at portraying them being killed. And you were still felt, you know, like they were getting killed, even though you knew there was none of the extra gore that they add today in films. You still knew that they were dying. And I have to bring up the fact again that after they pull the camera back and you see all the soldiers that are all dead laying around, and the two horses just laying there with their saddles on, just being still as can be, I was like, holy crap, they had a wonderful animal trainer there to get two horses to lay there like that while they filmed it, because those are well-trained horses, because it's not easy to get a horse to lay down and do nothing, just to lay there while they're filming. It was great. I just thought whoever they got to do these certain parts for this movie, they did good. They got a real pro, because that is not an easy task when it comes to animals. And I did see a few chickens, and I think I saw one dog run through the town. And I love the scene where you see Clint Eastwood bust in the door and shoot the 6 thugs that are sitting around the table in the dining area, basically. And he shoots them one, bam, 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 you know, with his repeater pistol. You know, he grabs his pistol like this, and he just blows them all away, and then he has to shoot the one guy twice, which doesn't happen very often, but I like that. It added a touch of realism. But then you see the cat go meow and then run right towards him. I just thought that was great. So they even had a cat in the movie. So I just thought it was really wonderful. The whole movie was, you couldn't turn away. I mean, I wasn't at all wanting to get up and leave. It kept me, I'd never seen this before. But I knew I've seen some of his other ones, so I knew I'd probably really like it. But it kept me engaged. You know, it actually kept me watching, because it had that much going on to where you didn't want to miss anything about who was going to get it, and to see how he was going to wheel and deal with both these two groups of bad guys, basically the government against the scumbags, you know, thieves. And I just loved it. really, really enjoyed a lot of these scenes because they were just really exciting and kept me in entertained. Isn't and that's what movies are supposed to give you, is to keep you entertained and root for the hero. And this movie definitely gives you one, gives you a hero to root for. And that's the little guy. This adore this guy.
His name is Joey Edgar. Joey Edgar. He he was a actor for a few years. I don't believe he made it out of the 80s. I think he didn't even get out of 70s. Oh shit, died in 66. He was 75.
Really, he made this movie. At least he looked like it when they did a bunch of the close-ups and stuff on him.
He was
But
75.
this,
in this
I
movie.
really liked him.
Oh, I
He
loved
was a
him.
likable character.
He's also the old prophet in for a few dollars more, but that's his last movie appearance that he does. Great film. We'll watch that next week. Just in case you want to know what we're doing, yep, we're watching the entire fucking Dollars trilogy, kids. This is going to be education for the two of us, and we're going to see some films we probably have never seen before. But I want to watch like 3 months of Clint Eastwood movies, and that's
You're not going to get any gripe from me. I really love Clint Eastwood and I love his
okay.
movies.
I I,
So,
I think he's an American icon, and
mhm.
there's other like Nick
Yeah,
Shaw
not
got.
just, sorry, I hate to interrupt again, but not just in front of the camera. He's also an icon behind the camera.
Well, of course, but
Yeah.
as a director, just as a pressman, I mean, as a guy that gets hired on by a certain political party to go out on stage with an empty chair and ridicule a sitting president. Anyway, I love Clint Eastwood. I think he's fucking amazing. But the part about him that I want to see persevere is just the attitude that he fostered as an actor, and he was able to keep himself separate from the shittiness of Tinseltown. He didn't get involved with the child predators. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that he makes it to every gala, every party, every ball. He didn't really get involved with that. He instead became a man of principle and helped contribute to his community. I think wasn't he a mayor of a little town in California for a
Like
bit too?
Carmel,
Yeah,
California.
yeah.
Yeah, he
So
did
the
that.
guy, I mean, he's just a fucking Chad of a human being.
He put his money where his mouth was. Unlike
Exactly.
so many in Hollywood, they go spout off all the rhetoric, yet they do nothing.
Yeah, Merlinster Gandalore. This movie was made in '64 and then finally released in '67. And even after the release, I believe that was when Kurosawa uh, got a hold of Sergio and was like, "Hey up, you made my movie," and that's pretty much Sergio was like, "Fine, whatever," but nobody expected really Kurosawa to make more money on this than his own film. I know whenever I read that, I laughed.
Well, one thing that I did like, they didn't have to waste any money with squibs and blood and all that for the actors that were all out there getting shot with the Gatling gun. You could tell they put the money into the uniforms, okay, and the horses and the gun, that type of stuff, instead of wasting it on whatever background actors or whatever you want to call them, because none of them spoke. They just died, but a lot of them died well. I thought they did really good about jumping back and acting like whatever, getting shot and falling to the ground. So they did a really good job. And then you had the guys when they went over to the wagon and opened the back, and you saw that they had actually killed the real soldiers and were wearing their uniforms, and to pretend to make the trade for the weapons, right? So that was really good. That's why it made you root for to see those guys die, because even though they were bad guys because they were going to buy a bunch of guns to help fight, in the war or whatever they were going to use them for against America. Uh, I don't know what, you have no idea because they don't really say what they're going to do. It just, you knew it was bad. These were bad soldiers. So you don't kind of shed a tear for them. But later on in the movie, when Clint Eastwood does get taken and he gets beaten and stuff, you could tell they really wanted to make sure you saw what a horrible uh, treatment he received because his eyes swollen shut and he's got blood and cuts on him and bruises. And then also when the bartender guy is being tortured and trying to tell the bad guys where Clint Eastwood went, he's all beaten up and he has blood on him. So they did use blood and special effects makeup on the people that were stars, the supporting actors and the true star of the show. So I really like that because they did make it make you want to have sympathy for them, and that's where they put the money. And that to me is smart direction by the director because he made sure that he put his money where his mouth was. Basically, he wanted you, the viewer, to be impacted by what you saw, like the whole scene where the young boy runs out to his mother when they're making the trade to give her back to the people that were probably raping and abusing her, because she was married and had a son, but they weren't allowing her to be with her child because they were saying they'll kill him if you try to get away or you don't do what you're told. So basically, they knew that she would probably kill herself. She probably slit her own throat, but she knew that they would just kill her child. So she was willing to do whatever it took to be a piece of meat for these people to save her own child. So it showed you the empathy that for the child, the mother, and the husband that was just trying to take care of their son and keep him alive and be good so that they wouldn't, hurt his wife because he loved her. I just love that whole concept. They put so much, to me, emotion in there. And then also for the woman that worked for was it the Baxters? Is that what they called them?
Mm-hmm.
That group? Okay. That were twisted, morbid government because they were letting these people get away with treating all these people in the town so horrible. So you really didn't want to root for them either. You know what I mean? So they did a great job at putting Clint Eastwood's character in the middle, the man with no name really, because no one even knows who he is. They just know that he's a stranger, in town. And, but instantly the bartender knows there's something different about him, which you would seem a bartender would notice because he sees so many dregs and skanks and terrible people come through his bar that when he meets someone that has a different air about him, you think he'd pick up on it and be interested by him. And that's what they did a good job of getting a good actor to portray the bartender, I felt. And also the woman that was in charge, who was beautiful, but not too young and not too old to portray the wife of the very rich guy that was in charge, running all the Baxter guys, right? So I just thought they did a phenomenal job at picking the casting people, picking the actual actors to portray the characters, even though it was in Italy where they made the movie.
I believe it was either Italy or Spain, but I think it was Spain because I read a thing where Spain was 20% cheaper. And they initially did a lot of stuff from Italy, but they moved production to Spain just to make it because it was so much cheaper to get catering and hotels, et cetera, et cetera.
And yeah, to build sets and everything. I'm sure it was cheaper, just like it would be today, because a lot of big productions, like what was it, the Lord of the Rings, stuff like that, they go to other countries. When you start
New
seeing
Zealand.
3 different movies, one after the other, and film lots of it at the same time, it's because they got to save money. And now you're seeing a lot of that happen now in Hollywood, and they're calling it Hollywood South, down in New Orleans and in Alabama and Georgia, basically, in some Texas areas, because the tax incentives, they've made changes. And you see a lot of production companies going there to film a series and stuff. And Canada, they've always gone to Canada a lot from Hollywood to make movies, which you hear Bear talk about a lot, simply because they get a huge break and save a lot of money. And they have a lot of area, as long as you film it in the right time of year, to film, lots of wilderness, big cities that are bustling. So they have a lot of, background scenes and things for any type of movie, basically. So, which I think is great because they're no longer just making stuff in Hollywood anymore because they can't afford it. I mean, it's pretty much a hardly make anything in Hollywood now because it's too expensive. Even game shows and other shows like The Voice and stuff like that, they travel around and do it in different places because it's so expensive and all the taxes and stuff that they add to everything today. So I think it's wonderful. But this movie was, I don't know, I can't even, it was very inspiring to actually see a well made movie, with good acting, good sets, good direction, good story, great story with
Janet's not
romance.
going to let me forget about the time that me and some people watched Hundreds of Beavers, and
Uh-uh.
she's never going to forgive us that. Like, she needs to see it. It's a
No,
very well
that's
good.
okay.
That movie was done for $50. You want to see a great budget being used properly? That movie.
You said you had another movie kind of like that one that you're going to be able to watch in February, or in
We
March when
we
I
were
go
gonna we were
on
thinking
my
about it.
trip. When I go on my trip, you guys can do another men's movie night. It'd be great for you.
I just think you're jelly. I think you're jealous.
Maybe, maybe a little, but
They had a
yes,
50th
I love the
anniversary.
innkeeper. He was awesome.
They had a 50th anniversary of this movie in
Mhm.
2014.
Yeah, I
You
saw
see a
that.
few people that were there at the showcase for it.
Hmm.
This is a quality shot right here. I love this shot.
It's
I
an
just,
iconic part of the movie.
yeah,
This is right here. This Go back to that for a second. This is what sets a hero apart from a thug. Okay, when you have all these people that are willing to all gun this guy down all at the same time. They don't give a shit. They have no chivalry. Like what we were talking about with John Wayne. John Wayne would not ever shoot someone in the back in any of his movies. And he said that multiple times because that's not what he would do. And way back a few times when we did a couple movies like Rob Roy and stuff where they take the gloves and go bam bam slap the other one in the face, and then they would do the duel where they do the paces so many steps away from each other before they draw their pistols. uh, I'm sure in real life whenever that did happen, that a lot of people got shot in the back because the one guy goes, I don't give a shit about chivalry, and he'd shoot the guy in the back because he didn't even get 2 paces away or whatever. But to see this, it was very realistic, even though I don't think in real life they'd really be that far apart from each other. I don't think they'd separate, and maybe they would. But to me, being closer together would make it harder for him to shoot one person. But that was one of the things that I liked about the scene I talked about earlier with the cat that ran out afterward, which made me laugh when that happened. But the fact that he one shot, bam, 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 and he just shot them all in one shot, and they dropped to the ground. So, and none of them looked like they got shot in the head. They didn't have blood spatter and their head explode or anything like that. So, the fact that someone would drop to their knees immediately, being shot in the shoulder or wherever it was, that they were shot. He was supposed to be, I guess, able to shoot him right in the heart, like he was showing the one guy with the rifle when he had the chest plate on, and he's talking about him saying, you got to go for the heart, you got to go for the heart, and that he practiced on that suit of armor. So that I was thinking, watching it, I was thinking he had that suit of armor on underneath. I didn't realize he had that plate that he was trying to sharpen his knife on. Remember when he was in the mine shaft or whatever? So that was a shock to me when he opened up his poncho and he dropped the thing in it, and you saw the bullet marks on it was all above his heart. Right where they were all, every one of them were kill shots. So that's when that guy in the middle, the bad guy, realized he did kill the guy if he hadn't been wearing that thing over his chest. So, and the fact that he shot all the others and made it a one on one at the end, I
mhm.
thought was freaking awesome. I just loved this whole scene. It was great. It was a very well done scene, and I love that little guy. He is adorable.
Joe Eggers.
I love him.
You
And
know
he
what
was
I
a
love about this
very
movie?
handsome man. Whoever this actor was, I have to look him up after because I don't remember seeing him in another movie. But it was funny. It does make me look at his beautiful brown eyes. That was one thing I saw in a lot of the other actors when you showed them when they got close-ups for them. They had blue eyes. They're in Mexico. They speak Spanish, and they have dark hair and a dark tan, but they're not Hispanic. They're Americans playing Hispanic characters, which
Gian Maria
interesting.
Volante.
He's a nice looking man. I bet he had a lot of women chasing after him back in Hollywood back then.
I have no idea.
I don't even,
Probably
but
he did. He probably did. He lived in 1994, and he was not only in this, he's in for a few dollars more as El Indio. Sergio Leone did not really give a shit if you died in one movie. He'd bring you back as a different character in the next film. And I
mhm.
love that. I think that's great.
Well, the thing is, in reality, I would care more about having a good actor play a part than I
Hmm.
would about whether, oh, they're going to recognize it from my other movie. You see what I mean? So that's
I
a good
mean,
director
one
to
of
be
the
able to
best movies that you've never seen is Beer Fest, and the scene where
do that.
everybody's at Gil's funeral, and then Phil's brother Gil walks in, and he's like, "Hey, you guys could just call me by my brother's name to honor him." And they're like, "Sure." And then he slams a beer and he belches, and they're like, "What the fuck? It smells like sauerkraut and sausage."
I have never seen that, but I did read something in my chat
You
because I
can
have
see it.
my video open, so I can actually write to the
Yeah.
people in my YouTube. Hardwick wrote, "I've heard great things about Hundreds of Beavers. I saw an interesting video showing some of the behind the scenes of how it was made. So make sure you invite Hardwick if you guys do another man."
Yeah,
Movie show
absolutely.
or whatever, so he can be in part of it because
Love
I'm going
having
to
him
be
around.
taking a trip in March. I'm not for sure what weekend yet. I just know I'm going to be going in March. So you guys can plan that whole thing and pick another movie like that one. Whatever that one you were telling me about sounded like a real good one for you guys to do.
Might have to do that. Beer Fest might be the one we see.
Yeah, that
Is
might be.
you actually? I think you would enjoy Beer Fest though, because
I might, but
it's a
after I saw
silly.
the trailer for Hundreds of Beavers, I was like, yeah, that movie's perfect. Or that Cocaine Bear one. That's another one you guys can do. I'm not interested
Oh,
in.
I can invite Cigar DM for that.
Yeah,
He loves Cocaine Bear.
I know he's seen it like a dozen times at least. But that's a movie that I
Yeah,
won't cry if I
Bob
miss
and
it.
Jerry, they're great badasses behind the fucking trigger. Um,
So you guys can enjoy. I'll let you be
yeah,
man and manly and drink your beer and enjoy your movie or whatever. No problems.
Janet, you just want to be part of us. That's all. You want to be there, and you want to be here when
Oh, I
Wheat
don't think
Fest finally
so.
comes out.
Not for
Okay.
that.
All right, Gian Maria Volante. He kind of got upset because he wanted to talk to Clint Eastwood, but then he realized Clint Eastwood's a fucking American conservative, and that means like a super Republican. And he kind of got bummed out. They didn't talk at all basically during the discussion of the first movie.
Yeah, but
During
he hired him again for another one, didn't he?
Sergio Leone hired him again twice,
Okay, see,
and he was
he
also supposed
he
to be Chico.
passed himself. Well, plus he's from another country, and their point of view is a little different than ours
Yeah,
because of the war days. So,
and for those of you that are in England right now, we are praying for you, and we hope you have plenty of bacon.
and pork chops.
Pork chops are good, but bacon is so much superior.
Mm.
Pork steak is probably the only thing I put on par with bacon. I will,
And every household over there should own a dog,
or a pig,
a big pit bull or something.
a, a there's also a wonderful Burmese mountain dog or Great Pyrenees.
Hmm.
Those dogs you can fit an entire forearm in their mouth. It's great.
Yep.
Okay. I'll get off this picture here. There's so many iconic scenes in this movie, and this film is just riddled with greatness from start to finish. If you've not seen it, you just look for it on the internet and you're going to find it for free. You're going to find it. It's on Fossum right now. I
She
know
was
that.
a strikingly gorgeous woman, and she did have beautiful blue eyes, and they were like sea blue, not really sky blue. They were deep, very dramatic. She had a very dramatic look, and I loved her eye makeup. I'm like, oh, it's beautiful, because I could help. I noticed that kind of stuff,
I
but it's just
believe
beautiful.
that's. I could be wrong. I am wrong. That's not Margarita Lozano. That is Marianne Koch, and
Yeah,
she is the lady who plays Marisol. Her little son has the annoying voice for our friend Hardwick.
you got to remember this was. I think this whole movie was filmed in silence,
Mm-hmm.
and that they added the voices. And so,
ADR.
yeah,
ADR was
so
their friend.
the little boy probably wasn't even really the little boy speaking. It's probably a grown up dubbed in as the kid. So I bet if you look it up, the voice of the kid. But look at that picture of her crying. Oh, she's just gorgeous. She's a beautiful woman right there. Go
Marianne Koch.
up one more right there. Look at her. I mean, look at her beautiful eyes. Oh my God, she's got pretty eyes, and she got beautiful full lips. She's just a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, I believe she passed. No, no, my bad. She's still alive and with us. She's Wrinkle Factory. She was born in 31, so there you
Yes,
go. She's like
1931.
95, 96 right now.
Wow. It's amazing she's still alive, but yeah, she was in supposedly in a lot of like superhero movies or a lot of westerns, spaghetti westerns and stuff, because she just has that dramatic look about her. I mean, she's just a very beautiful woman, and I could see why. And she didn't really have very many lines or anything like that, but she was.
She had
Uh,
one line, I believe.
she had, I think, she had a couple lines, not just one, because she talked to her son, she talked to her husband,
Yep.
and she talked to Clint Eastwood. So that's three
Yeah.
different times I
She
know
said
she.
one thing in English. My bad.
Well, I'm saying she really didn't speak on film, anyways. Someone else did. She's German. She's a German actress, but
Not
she's
upset,
gorgeous.
not upset about that.
She's a beautiful woman. And really, though, there really wasn't. You just need the women in this movie simply for the fact to have a reason to help. You know what I mean? To give sympathy to the viewers, because who doesn't sympathize for a woman who's been taken away from her child? That even men would say that's bullshit. We need to help that woman get her son, that kind of thing. So any woman in that predicament, especially a beautiful woman like that, men would even root to see the bad guys get a bullet for the beautiful woman to get her son back, you know? So they did a good job at choosing her. So she was beautiful.
Uh, I have to answer Hardwick here. I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with the Amelia phenomenon. I'm sorry, sir. If you want to throw me a link for that, I'll open up Discord and get that back on. That way, I can see what you're talking about. Um, Also, Mage's
Can you
Music.
imagine? Oh, sorry. Let me just say this real quick. Can you imagine, because of what Six Nations was saying, what it was like to actually be on set? Okay, with one person speaking German, one person speaking Spanish, one person speaking English, or whatever their different languages were, but going by the script. You see what I mean? And acting their part. Now, they just think about it. To be able to take that and without any sound to film it and get enough for the editor to put together and then have them dub it in and have people, because what they do is they show the film and you have the actor standing there with their microphone in a soundproof booth speaking into a microphone to dub in for the character that they're dubbing for, just like they do with cartoons, right? So just the fact to be on set and be a worker here and there, which I'm sure there were very few Americans at all, if any, besides him, um, to have all the different languages being spoken, but actually make a movie that was good. You know what I mean? that went together that looked like everybody understood what everyone else was doing. It was awesome. If you think about that part of it alone, uh, it had to have been very hard to film that.
Interesting.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So there's a AI photos of this British schoolgirl that they're trying to use for a video game, and instead of it working pro UK globalist pieces of shit,
Hmm.
Amelia has been captured and been used for all the far right memes and all the far right
Oh,
messaging.
you that one actress that's supposedly everybody wants to put in their stuff. That's AI. That's
Yeah,
what you're talking about. Oh yeah,
I think that's it. I could be wrong, but Amelia is interesting, and she's like, bacon's good.
you should have her sit there eating a bunch of bacon, a whole plate of it. You say, BLTs, bacon on my salad. Just going on and on about all the different meals you can make with bacon, or
So
even having her perform making meals using the BLT. Just
So the
all that.
for UK, they put a video game with a character named Amelia, and they
Hmm.
wanted to brainwash 13 to 18-year-old kids, not question mass migration, and it backfired. So now it's kind of gone crazy. The AI Amelia phenomenon has gone a little bit weird because it was supposed to be woke indoctrination, and it got hijacked as a national icon to promote British nationalism and return to the way they were, which is great.
Uh-oh.
So the dogs have become active. It's
Yeah,
just
it
something that
sounds.
happens.
Mhm.
She's become a symbol of the resistance against the UK's terrible immigration policies, and so they're making pictures and memes of her. Eventually, that guy's going to show up. Do you have any memes you'd be hiding in your hard drive? Anyway, we hope you guys have plenty of
Oh,
bacon.
another thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was hilarious that made me laugh, but it didn't ruin the movie for me, but I still thought it was great, was the fact that you had a hero in multiple different scenes where he set things up, right, to see something happen because he wanted to make sure that the Baxters thought the bad guys did it or the bad guys thought the Baxters did it so that they would go at each other, right? And at the end, towards the end, when you see that he took the woman and gave her the bag of gold and gave her child and her husband and told him to get across the border or whatever and find somebody or whatever to stay away from these people as best they can. That part. And then he runs over to the other building and he stands behind a little wall, right? And then they all ride in, they go right to that one building instead of them all spreading out like you'd think they would to see what happened because they heard gunshots, I guess, from a distance. And they're all standing there, and he sees they're doing that, so he walks over in broad daylight, gets on his horse, and rides up, and no one even sees him. I just thought that little thing that happened multiple times in this movie, it really made me laugh, but it was so entertaining. The fact that that's how stupid the bad guys were apparently that they didn't even look around to see where he was. I don't know. I just thought that was one of the things I thought was great, and a couple of the lines that I thought were so iconic from this movie because I'd never seen it was the very first one when he said, "Get 3 coffins ready." I just thought that was just little things like that is what makes this kind of movie rewatchable because every time I guarantee that every single time I watch this, I'm going to see other things that I didn't see the first time I saw it.
This movie's infinitely rewatchable for me. I could see this movie 30, 40, 70, 100 times, 300 times. It would never get old. Just watching him work, watching a smart protagonist work against the system and against the environment and then against the people that are already in place and entrenched, and just seeing him work his charms against everyone, and just it's a perfect movie. If you like westerns, like this is great. This is a fantastic film, and I'm just going to tell you right now. Next week we watch Fistful of Dollars with Lee Van Cleef. Supposedly that's supposed to be Lee Van Cleef's movie, not Clint
Mhm.
Eastwood's, and that's cool. But I'm looking forward to it. But I'm giving this movie a 92, and I rarely give movies anything over a 85. Typically, you're going to catch me if I like the movie, I'll watch it again, give it like an 80, 84, something like that. This movie, it gets a 92. This is a fantastic film. The only thing that you could possibly say you don't like is you don't have blood squibs. Well, because the tech of the time, people were getting injured and they weren't exactly the most reliable. I'm okay
Mhm.
with people being safe and going home
No, I
setting up
mean
their mom
saying
and
just
dad.
having like blood spots on their
Ah,
uniform
I, that
would have been good. But I'm going to give this a 98 out of 10
that
because I'm even rating it higher than you,
that's really
simply
high.
because it was so entertaining from beginning to end. You were intrigued from the moment you saw him riding up on his horse, looking at this town that was not really even a town, and you realize that they spent as little as possible to make this movie. And they did it overseas, that type of thing. But the fact to me that's so wonderful about it is the fact that they got so many good people to act in this movie, even though the reason I'm boosting it up even more is because the fact that, just like I said, this was a silent movie that they dubbed later because nobody could speak to each other really. Okay, nobody was speaking the same languages. She was German, this person's Spanish, this person's English, this person, and you had a makeup person, you had a costume person, you had sets, you had animal guy. Like I said, this guy was top notch, one of the best animal people I can think of. And I mentioned this a few times in other movies with horses and different things because these animals are not easy to control what they do. But to get two horses, not just one, to get two horses to lay down in the same scene and not move and play dead while they film this. And it takes a while to walk back and forth and get the lights and people don't realize how much is going on when you're filming something with that many people in it. To get two horses to lay there, uh, he didn't get paid enough money, whoever it is, or she, to do that part. But this movie has everything in it. It has romance. It has here the hero winning the day. It has lots and lots of action. It has intrigue because you don't really know who's the bad guy. You know what I mean? It goes from one side to the other to the other. It just got a lot of great stuff in it. To me, this is just I wish they made good movies like this today. They don't take the time to put the details in there like they did in this movie because even though nobody could communicate really, they did a great visually to each other to communicate. With the squinting eyes and the menacing looks, that they were giving each other, and the care that they did for the women's clothing and hair and things like that. And the little boy, the adorable little boy that they got to play, even though you don't get to hear him, but to see him running around and stuff, and he's tiny. He's a tiny little thing. It's just adorable. You can't help but feel for the husband, that has a very small part in this movie, but you could see that you felt like he loved his wife so much that he knew what she was going through and what she was sacrificing for him and his son. Did little things like that, even though all this other crazy stuff was going on. They still put that in there to where you cared about them. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of work for all the people involved in the overall of this movie. I can see why Clint Eastwood only making $15,000 for this movie to make it, and look how iconic it is. This is a classic movie that I'm shocked I didn't see it. And I've seen a few others of his westerns that he's made like this, but look at him. Look at him today. Look where he became, simply because he took the risk to go to this other country to make this movie. Little things like that some of these actors did to get into the acting is what made him so successful. because he cared about the little things, and the fact that he did that on a set with people he couldn't even hardly communicate with by speaking to them to make this movie this good. I don't know. That just shows you that they went above and beyond what most people even do today to make one episode on a TV series.
So this tree with the newts in it
Mhm.
wasn't planted where it was filmed. They saw it on the way in, and they're like,
They cut it down.
that they didn't cut it. They yoinked it out of the ground and took it and planted it where it was filmed at for the movie. And they told the municipal people in charge, like, listen, this tree is kind of in the way. It's in a hazardous spot in the road. People could hit it. We're going to move it for you. Don't worry. And that was it. That was it. They just like, we're going to take care of this for you. We need this tree. Shut up. All right. And they took the tree.
Because there really wasn't a lot of trees.
No, it's Spain.
Look, yeah.
You ever been in Spain, Janet?
No. But I'm talking about the scenery around the buildings, around the sets and stuff. It was like brush and lots of rocks and dirt. It looked like Mexico to me, or in the Badlands of Texas, that type of stuff.
I spent a lot of time in Spain, and I just got to say that a lot of rocks, not a lot of tree in Spain. I didn't see a lot of trees at all. I was in Rota, and on the way over to Rota from Lisboa, it was a lot of rocks, and then I passed out a lot because there was nothing else to do.
Oh, well,
I'm stuck.
I've never been there. I'd love to go someday to go to Spain, maybe. That would be nice. I think it's probably beautiful.
It's got its charms, I'll say that. Andalusia is a place that you should go in the day and in the night, but it feels like two different places.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like two different places. Andalusia does. It's so well known that even Satriani made a song about that. But there's a lot to see and do in Spain, and the fact that it's one of the few places where the Moors were beaten the shit out of and they got their independence back. That was awesome. That's where it all started. Anyway, for next week, you have any questions or concerns?
What movie is it again?
For a few dollars more.
A few dollars more. Okay. No, not really. I might do a poll on my channel, on my post area, to find out, because I have to go through and look at the different characters to find out if I want to dress up as a guy, one of the bad guys instead of one of the maidens that don't really do anything. They just lay around and scream or whatever. So
it's okay, Janet.
So
Shadow put out a challenge to us, right?
To watch or to make a small video about our favorite movies. Yeah, I've made a list to make one. I just have been so busy with all the things, and then you get into migraine and being in bed for 4 days, and then I hurt my leg. It just seems like everything bad happens to keep me from being able to do anything. But yeah, he sent me the same message.
So I kind of answer that with this: my 10 favorite movies in order.
Oh, you're not going to do a video?
I'm not going to do a video. I'll make it part of this since I already talk about movies.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I get paid well for talking about movies. I make more money as a pumper than I do as a truck driver and than as a movie reviewer, and that's okay. Okay, so honorable mention for me is the Blade Runner theatrical cut. Not the final cut, not the director's cut, the theatrical version that we all watched.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's the pinnacle of that film. The more that I see Ridley Scott touch a movie, the less good it is. That's just how it works.
I'll have to look up that character.
Ridley Scott's the director. Number 10, my favorite movies in order, is The Crow. 1994, Alex Proyas movie that got him on the map, The Crow. This is a fantastic movie. It showcases the acting talents of Brandon Lee and they even were able to finish it. It was one of the first times they used CGI to help finish a movie after an actor's death. Was known primarily for the fact that Bruce Lee or Brandon Lee died during the making of it. And if you can put that aside, because that's a sad part of it, the movie is fantastic. I showed you this movie 3 years ago. It was one of those films that I had to show you because you'd never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that this is one of those things that it still ranks super high for me today. Number 9, in the same year, 1994, we have The Professional
Mm-hmm.
with Gary Oldman, Jean Reno, and Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the European version that has a few more scenes. It slows the movie down a little bit. I actually like the theatrical version, the American version of The Professional, a lot better than the European version. The European version is good for characters and context, but if you want a movie that doesn't really take the foot off the throttle, it literally the American version of The Professional is a superior film in that aspect. Gremlins 2, Joe Dante's magnum opus. This is a movie that you and I will be watching at some point this year. It takes the movie The Gremlins and it furthers things. It gives us a Donald Trump like character that he's in charge of this smart building. It's the future. It's 1989's the future, and it does so many things right, and it never lets you forget this is a Joe Dante film. Joe Dante does such a good job with this movie that you're kind of wondering why wasn't he used more in Hollywood? And the guy
Mm-hmm.
was used dozens of times. He's a great director, but when he's able to do his own thing, that's when you get Gremlins 2. Fast forward to 1997, Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. We and I just reviewed this movie about 3 months ago. Face Off. That movie kind of came around the same time that I discovered the director John Woo, which we have Better Tomorrow Part 2, The Killer, Hard Boiled, and so many other good Chinese and Hong Kong action cinema that you and I are going to go on a journey next year and discover those. As long as I'm alive, we're going to do that. Face Off is a magnum opus in American movie directing, in my opinion, because you have American actors and budget, and you have a guy that knows how to film action. The Face Off movie is probably one of the few movies that actually can keep you entertained from start to finish on the first three viewings, and then after that, you start trying to pick it apart. But it's a great movie. Number 6, The Raid from Indonesia. You and I watched this the first year we did it. It's like episode 15, I think. You remember this movie where they went into a big building? It's basically Dread. But instead of using
What's
guns,
the second one?
we did the first
Ray?
and second one.
Yeah. Okay.
We did the first and second. And the first one, he finds his brothers working for the drug dealers, the guy at the top of the building. And it's just a survival horror, but instead of survival horror, it's survival kung fu or picat stilat. And
Yeah.
how many fights can he make it through before he dies? And that kind of is something that the movie does a very good job of pacing very well through. That it's kind of a one-sided movie if you don't like if you don't like martial arts, that movie's going to be a mess. Number 5, my favorite movie, The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, 1982. A lot of movies came out that
Mm-hmm.
week. The Thing, Blade Runner, and E.T. ran away with all the money. But The Thing is the one that I watch. And there's only one movie in terms of body horror that I could actually say compares to The Thing. And you and I both watched it in the last year, and that's The Substance. But The Thing, it ranks number 5 for me. Substance is a top 20 movie. Sorry, kids. The Thing is ideally it's peak Kurt Russell, it's peak John Carpenter. and it is peak Rob Bottin. Rob Bottin did a lot of other great films too. Don't forget, he also was the guy that was responsible for the Ed 209 in the original RoboCop. We have to do that someday. Okay, number 4, Starship Troopers. 1997's Paul Verhoeven's magnum opus. This is a movie that a lot of people said, oh, it's not political. Oh, it makes fun of conservatives. Oh, it makes fun of libertarians. And the more this movie goes on, the more it kind of proves the libertarian mindset kind of is correct. And the Verhoeven, he couldn't be bothered to read the book. He got bored after the second chapter. I don't know why. The book's great, but he doesn't like science fiction, I guess. So, whatever. For me, this movie is an unabashed love of the 90s. It's almost the most 90s movie you'll see until you watch Independence Day. But as far as quality film is concerned, Starship Troopers blows up E.T. like nobody's business. Number 3, The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back is the only one of the OG old guard trilogy that can amazingly entertain me from start to finish. And I've never quite felt like a kid again watching that movie. I always feel like there's some problems, but it's The Empire Strikes Back, and it's probably going to be the best thing that George Lucas ever gives us. A New Hope is a great movie too. Don't get me wrong, and that actually is a complete movie from start to finish. It tells you a complete story. There's nothing left hanging. But for me, The Empire Strikes Back is a better quality of film. You have better effects, better budget. You have more of a scope of how big this could really be, and it does a lot with it. And it is a downbeat movie, so I'm probably going to enjoy that a lot more than I did other films. No, the heroes don't always win. The heroes sometimes become the safety brief. All right. Number 2, my favorite movies, Predator 1 from 1987. This movie was supposed to have Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, and he was supposed to play like a mantis alien, and thank God they skipped out on it because Stan Winston and James Cameron were talking on a flight, and Winston's like, I just don't think I can get this alien right. And they're like, well, make one with a fucking, like, mandibles. You haven't done mandibles yet. Hey, that's an idea. And therefore, we have movie magic being made on a flight back to California from Mexico. And that's exactly how they got rid of Jean Claude Van Damme, because he was very unprofessional on set. I mean, everybody's unprofessional on set of Predator. It's in the middle of Mexico. They're filming in the summer. Everyone's getting chewed up by mosquitoes, and they're not enjoying themselves. The guys, they had to hire some extra security because you've got one of the actors, the guy that plays Billy, he's wandering around set and he's bullying everybody around. So that was one of the main reasons why they kept Sven Thorson on set for Predator, because he actually intimidated the guy that played Billy, and I'll get you his name in just a second. But it was part of the insurance. They had to have a individual that would be available to keep that guy away from the other actors because he wasn't making anybody feel at home. And the guy, the jerk I'm talking about in question is Sonny Landham. Sonny Landham was in some adult films back in the 70s too, and he always liked to talk to people about that. Talk, hey, I'm going to flex here. I used to be in adult cinema. Okay. Coco, you got a replica of the hat? Dude. Yeah, she could be Mary Krupp's character. Janet, look up Mary Krupp's character from a fistful of or from a few dollars more. You'll like
Okay,
it.
I'll go look her up.
All right, and if I talk about any movie more than any other film, this movie has had more impact on me as a viewer than any other film in the history of cinema. Big Trouble in Little China does everything right with pacing, with making it feel exotic, even though it's like literally just down from the Apple offices. down from where corporate hell's at. It makes everything feel exotic. It does nothing conventionally. Kurt Russell, lead character, he's the sidekick. Best movie ever. I feel that this movie does no wrong, and if you disagree, well, you're wrong. Big Trouble in Little China is my favorite movie of all time, and it's as much as Hollywood keeps kicking the old franchises, like, hey, can we make more money out of you? Man, I would hightail it to California and I would lay on that sidewalk. Stop kicking Big Trouble in Little China. Jack Burton doesn't need to be played by The Rock. Stop it. I don't need The Rock to do a sequel to Big Trouble in Little China. You're bad, terrible. Hollywood, don't do it. Anyway, that's my list.
Well, that's a good list. I mean, mine are definitely not the same as yours for sure.
No, not at all. And that's why we're such good
I'm
friends.
going to try to make a video because I've already got them listed out. But I wanted to add the fact that a few things that I read when I did look up. I didn't have a lot of time, but I found a few things that Clint Eastwood said, because I found out that he only made $15,000 to make this wonderful movie, which I think is iconic, classic, definitely for sure. But that it said, Clint Eastwood said that described working on this movie. They had no electricity. Okay. And they didn't have a trailer, because I worked on many sets and they have like air conditioned trailers with bathrooms in them. So you can take a shower, wash your face, go to the bathroom and all that. It sinks and everything. And he said they didn't have a trailer with a toilet. They said they just went out behind the rocks. So I could see why they didn't want to have a lot of women on set, because you'd have a lot of women squatting around because there would be nowhere to go to the bathroom. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And they talk a lot about in the stuff that I did look up for trivia about Rawhide, because apparently when he made this movie, it was a break from working on Rawhide, and because it hadn't been out yet, but that he wasn't allowed to make another movie while he was under contract in the United States, under the thing for the Rawhide movie. So he got around that a little bit by not having his voice added to this movie until 1967, years later. And they filmed it out of the country, and it wasn't, considered breaking the contract. So that was interesting. But yeah, that was a couple of things that I was able to find. Look that up. But yeah, this movie is definitely worth a watch. I think this is a great movie for grown-ups to watch with their kids, their teenagers, or even your college age kids and stuff. If they've never seen this movie, I really think that you guys could watch this and have fun watching it. And they'll get a kick out of it simply because they don't make movies like this. No movies are made like this anymore. And they might even like it, because if you got a bunch of young people today watching some of these movies in midnight theaters, like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and there's what was that one that you and I watched about the giant bug creatures?
Which one?
I don't remember. They were all spaceship troopers or something.
Starship Troopers?
Yeah, Starship Troopers. I know they do that.
My number 4 movie?
I don't know, the first one, the one that we watched. That they watch it at midnight movies. They make they make nights out on the out, and they dress up as characters and stuff, just like they do Rocky Horror Picture Show. They do that with multiple movies. So just because a movie isn't a huge hit and make billions of dollars doesn't mean it's not a movie that other people would want to watch it today. I really think if I had the money and I could afford to have a nice theater, it wouldn't have to be very big, maybe 3 or 4 screens and that's it. I would have every week, I would show old movies like this in my theater for young people to come see. And I would even probably have people dress up as, in Western wear or whatever to theme for the theater, for the movie. And I really think something like that would be big hit with young people today, because there's nothing to do anymore. You either are playing video games or hanging out, on the street or at the mall and things like that. So much has changed
I,
because of
I,
COVID.
I started watching Fallout.
Really? Did you like it?
I'm gonna have to just forget all about the Fallout that I like
Um,
because I don't like your Fallout.
mm.
I don't like the world of Fallout.
I haven't played the game, so I don't know
I
anything about that.
I
I
like
watched
I
it from scratch.
like 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics. I've not played 3. Everybody says, "Oh, you got to play New Vegas." No, I don't.
I haven't played
I
any of
don't. Like
it. But you're talking about watching the series?
I started. Well, I got like
You
3
don't like
episodes
it?
in on the series. The series is okay. The
Okay, well,
problem I have with it is like just how they've tried to change America. Like we in certain areas, you're probably going to have like in areas away from like areas of influence,
hmm
you're going to probably have more people making babies that are mulattoes. You're probably going to have more of the integration. We don't really care what your skin color is. If I want to fuck your brains out, I'll fuck your brains out, and
yeah.
that's kind of how it is. Walt Goggins playing a character actor in Hollywood, getting along with a black woman. I just don't see it.
Why?
I'm
Sammy Davis Jr. had a white wife. To me, it was perfectly believable.
it's possibly believable, but Sammy Davis
There
Jr.
was lots of interaction between.
There was a lot of interaction, but I just like for her to not even recognize like it's 1950s Americana,
Mhm.
and you guys they're not fucking with the Red Scare. And then I was told, Bruce, they're really not doing that. They all have the old style outfits, but they're not really trying to play it like it's the 1960s, because then they'd have to have N bombs and you'd have to have all this stuff that would be more accurate America, and they're not wanting to do that. So they're just doing cosplay dress up bullshit to show the world that was before.
I, I'm
And
I'm sorry. I feel sad for you that you can't get past those type of things to enjoy the actual story that they're telling. See,
the
that's
story they're telling isn't horrible, but they have a female lead,
mhm,
and there's been some fight choreography scenes that I just bore me. God
mhm.
damn it, I hate that. And I just I'm not I'm
I
not
still
into it. I mean, and I if they would be, either they say at the start like this is the world of Fallout, this is not the America that you grew up in, not the America that
why
you were
do they have
born
to
into.
why do they have to say that?
Why would they
It's
have
a
to say that?
story. It's not real. It's not based on history. It's a story, so it can be about anything. I mean, I could make a story that I turned into the tooth fairy and go around and give kids money, but it doesn't mean I have to look just like me. It doesn't mean I have to look just like the tooth fairy you saw in that one cartoon. It just means that's a
And
story.
that's kind of like in Fallout Tactics, I finally realized why I love that so much.
hmm
Because in Fallout Tactics, you go through the series of missions and you find little side missions and such, and you build your little team of people. But eventually, you get to this part where there's an AI, and the AI is constructed with a certain preference to not allow ghouls and mutants in the future. And if you let him do that, if you let him be enabled to help eradicate those and scrub all of that, then the game ends with a loss per se. But if you can stop him or you can side with him either way. But that character is voiced by Arlie Ermy, and he's a real son of a bitch. And I love that game because the bad guy's allowed to be an evil son of a bitch. And it's sad that he has such a huge fucking nutsack, and they allow that game to still be sold. And so you can go play it right now if you want, and you can discover the greatness of the story that that game provides. But it's the lowest ranking Fallout game out there because of the fact that it's on such a hot button issue, and people's fifis get hurt. It fucking pisses me off. And then I turn around, I'm like, oh, I'll watch Fallout, the TV show. And the TV show, like, it's kind of okay. I feel really sorry for Goggins' character because he sees the spot where his wife should be. She's not there. And I get it. Like, this is a reason for you to keep exploring, keep digging up the truth, what happened to your family. I'm personally not as invested in it as everybody else I know, because to me the show is just a shit show of like social fiction and same bullshit that made the god awful movies G.I. Jane made the show Fallout. That's all.
See, the premise of GI Jane is the same thing. I picked
It
GI
is.
Jane because it shows a woman who wants to be able to try out for a special elite force without being it lowering the standards for her. That was the reason I picked it. All
And
the
that's
other
okay. You
at it,
can go for
no,
it.
but that's what she did. But that's why I liked the movie, because I wanted to do it during the big DEI shit. Because I am adamant that you shouldn't be a paramedic, a fireman, a doctor, a dentist, or any position that has to do with any job where other people are involved or be affected by it, because a person who's not qualified to have that job shouldn't have that job.
Sure.
If you're a woman and you want to be a fireman, but you can't climb the ladder carrying a hose and you can't lift a 300-pound body on a gurney, then you shouldn't have that damn job, because people's lives are at risk. Okay. But if you're a secretary and you can type 100 words a minute, or you can do certain things like that, yeah, you should be able to get the job. But you should only get the job if you can do the job, period. That's why I said I wanted to do GI Jane, simply because it points the finger where it needs to be pointed at people in government that force shit like that by putting up step stools and stuff like that for women to be able to jump over a thing, to be able to pass a test, to make them look good. Because look,
You
we have
don't have
this
to.
many women in this service because they did the job. Well, they didn't. They lowered the standards and put men that are on their team at risk, because now they have women that can't even do the job stuck beside them out on a field where they could be shot and killed.
There's
And
a
now the woman
reason.
is hurting them because she can't even do the job, because they lowered the standards for a woman.
There's
Any woman that would take any job that lowers the standards to give you that job, you should be ashamed of yourself, because you're putting people at risk. That's what I was trying to show. And
sure.
that's what I said during our review of the movie. But that was one of the reasons why I picked that movie. And the week before we watched it, that's what I said.
Okay.
Now, I love the movie because I thought the characters did the job of telling the story of exactly what I just said, that a woman shouldn't get a job in the elite force simply because they lowered the standards. If she can't do the job, she shouldn't be there. That's why I picked that
Well,
movie. And that's why
I
I
mean,
did a great job showing that, because even you said it showed you that she couldn't really hack the job. And how many other women got picked? Zero.
the thing about that movie that I like is that it shows a lieutenant try to use a map and compass and give grid coordinates, and
Mm-hmm.
she completely fucks it up. That's the only part of the movie that's fucking accurate. That's why it's not a 17%
Why
or
isn't
lower.
the rest of the movie not accurate? Did they lower standards to get a woman in there?
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, so
absolutely.
that's accurate. That's exactly why I picked the movie.
But okay, the movie might be good for you, but the movie for me was bad social fiction. First off, they shortened the fucking time it takes for buds from
Mm-hmm.
over a year to under 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then worse, they don't treat any of the operators that seriously. The majority of the movie is spent focusing on Viggo Mortensen and Demi Moore, which I get it. That's your money. That's what you want to do. That's fine. But the
Mm-hmm.
movie just completely eviscerates any idea that that it might have any reverence for special forces operators, and then it shows you a lot of bad things about why lowering the bar for standards is unacceptable in any trade or profession.
Mm-hmm.
The movie does a wonderful job showing that. Unfortunately, Hollywood has a fucking love affair with this shit, and so does the American left because of a bunch of pinko commies, and they just don't seem to get unseated from positions of responsibility. That's what I'm in it for. That's why I'm a dick. That's why I'm in here constantly, week after week, being a dick, because I'm going to try to make sure I remind everybody, like, hey, the things that are important are still being, constructed and orchestrated and observed by the people that are in charge, which are not the people that you would trust your kids or your money with. Why are you letting this foster? That's, and everybody tells me the same thing. Oh, Bruce, we can't do nothing. We can't do nothing. Motherfucker, we got 10,000 fucking wood chippers out there. We could be done with this in an afternoon. Shut up. Just admit it. The rest of us, we don't have the nuts to do what's right. We don't have the nuts to protect our kids. So
A lot of people don't.
it pisses me off, but I'm just, to me, GI Jane.
No, the reason I was explaining is
And
because
I get it.
when you were no, but when the way you were saying it, it made it sound like I liked the thought that women should be put in DEI jobs, stuff like that. I don't think any person, not a man or woman or a person that wants to be a kitty cat or whatever, should put in any position that they can't pass the test to get, because they shouldn't, because it hurts all of us when you lower the standards for anyone. And as you can see right now in our schools, our kids can't read cursive. We're having people graduate that can't read, or write or do a lot of things. And all that does is hurt us in the long run, because in 20 years from now, where are we going to be in the world stage when we got people that can't use a computer or do certain jobs simply because they didn't get the skills they needed in high school, which is what we're supposed to do as adults, is prepare our kids to take care of themselves when we are no longer here. That was the only thing. I just wanted to make sure people knew that I love the movie, but I loved it for a premise, for a reason why I chose it. I pick every movie, like Lars and the Real Girl. Every single movie I choose is because I'm trying to tell something that I think is important through the movie, because the movie is the reason I like that movie and why I picked it is for that purpose. Unless I say stuff like, well, my mother loved this movie and I love it because my mother loved it, like Victor Victoria, right? And I always say those things because to me that's important, about everybody knowing why you like it. And people should know why you liked the Meat Train movie, because it was good schlock, like you said. See, I remember stuff that you say about it and why you enjoy it. And a movie is supposed to be what? Entertainment. And if it doesn't entertain you for whatever reason, then it's a waste of our time.
Yeah, it does fall a little short from the book, but the Midnight Meat Train movie I thought was a lot of fun. And
I thought it was fun too, even though I didn't, give it a really high rating. I enjoyed the movie.
It's one of the most visceral films you'll ever see. I don't know. I gotta say that I wish we could go back and redo and rewrite the G.I. Jane movie. That's a garbage
Maybe
film.
somebody will, when, just like we both said, there's a lot of movies we don't want to see remade right now, because right now I don't think the right people are in charge of that part of our industry.
What are you talking about? Don't you want The Rock and
no, hell no.
Don't you want The Rock to be in part 2 or the remake of Big Trouble in Little China?
No,
I mean,
hell no.
I want to see them explain how
I would love to see my favorite comic book series made into a series. I would love that. I would absolutely love to see my favorite comic book made into a series.
Midnight Suns.
Yeah, the Midnight Suns. But the reason I will not is because I'm telling you right now, there isn't anyone. I mean, there's a few people, but not in enough charge of something to where they could actually say, this is how we're going to do it and this is what's going to happen. Now, if I could pick people from the 80s that did some of the things, I would pick that in a heartbeat to make that series.
Will you do me a favor? Hardwick said it's kind of hard to narrow down my favorite movies to a top 10 list, but this is pretty close. And he has his list here. Can you read those for us?
Okay, let me see. It says should I start with the last one? His number 10 favorite movie is Spider-Man 2. Number 9 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 8, Forbidden Planet. Ooh, I forgot about that one. That was a
Great
good
movie with
one.
Liam Neeson.
7, The Mummy from 1999. 6, Singing in the Rain. Oh, my mom loved that movie. She did love that movie. 5, Mystery of the Wax Museum. That's a good
Watch
one.
that.
We did that one. 4, we did this one too, The Rocketeer. And I think we did do it because of Hardwick. Number 3, King Kong. Yeah.
1933's King Kong is probably the best King Kong.
Yeah, that's probably the one he's saying too. Number 2, It Happened One Night. I've never seen that one.
Really?
Mm-mm, never seen that movie. And number 1, Metropolis.
Me,
That's his favorite movie.
I've
And I haven't
not
seen
seen
that one.
Metropolis yet. I need to.
I haven't seen that. So, but that's a good selection. I can't wait to do mine. But I pretty much everybody already knows. I think anyone who's watched any of our shows and we've talked about our favorite movie already knows what my favorite movie of all time is. And I guess because I'm a military brat and I just can't help it. That's my favorite movie. I like everything about it. I think it's a wonderful story.
Now, audience, make sure when you're making your bingo card for the girl or guy in a movie that you make sure that in your bingo card, either the free space is "I love the movie The Great Raid" or "I'm a military brat." Those two things you'll hear the most out of Janet.
Are you going to make another one of those cards?
I am. I am. I love those cards.
Yeah, it was funny. The first one you had, I had it hanging up for a while, but I don't see it now. It's not hanging on the wall. What happened to it?
Sorry to hear that. So you have any thoughts about this before we wrap it up? Or any extra thoughts?
No, I just think this is a really, I mean, I hadn't seen it before today. I'd seen little snippets and lots of memes and stuff like that. And I did see little bits of parts here and there. I don't know how. I don't really remember how. Maybe it was some different videos people posted or whatever. But my mom loved Clint Eastwood movies. She loved him. She loved Gene Hackman. She loved a lot of those actors. And I'm glad I watched it because it was way better than I was thinking it was going to be. Because there's a couple of the movies that were spaghetti westerns that were kind of cheesy and they just looked like they were just thrown together just to get in on the, like the horror movie genre. People just throw together whatever they can, stab, and it's a movie. It doesn't matter. Just paste a horror on it, and everybody will go see it. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But this one definitely is not. I can definitely tell you that the director I never heard of before, but
You've never heard of Sergio Leone?
I mean, I didn't know he made this movie. What I'm saying is I've heard that name, but I didn't know for sure what he was famous for, what movies. All I know is that he did a damn good job. He's a very good director. To be able to direct this and it be silent and have all those people put together and get the good quality people that he got to put together this movie, because the actors are the last part. People don't realize the actors are the last part of putting together a movie. You have to have places to do your movie. You have to have a script. Then you have to have the people that are going to fund you to be able to go do all these different things that you need. Then you got to have a casting director. You got to have people to build the sets. You got to have people, the animal trainer. You got to have all those different things picked already. Then you have your actors say, yeah, whatever. And then you throw them all in there and then you start directing them. But all the other stuff has to be in place. That is a lot. And the director's involved in that from the very beginning of that. And that's why the director's always right. Like I've always said, that if a director walks in and he says, I don't like her, get rid of her, get somebody else. They'll do it because they're the last person. It falls on their plate. Even though, like in that other movie that we did a few times, different things where the editing was shitty and things like that, that falls on the director, because if the director watched it and it was shit, he would say, re-edit this. This is bullshit, and fix it. But a lot of directors just say, I got too much on my plate, just let it go. And that's on them. Even if the editing is the reason why the movie's bad, it really is the director's fault in the end because they let it go and didn't get it redone. So that's all on that.
No.
Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. And it was nice to see Six Nations in the movie with us today because I'd been worried about him because I hadn't seen him or heard from him, and I didn't know if he was okay or not. But it was nice to have him there, and it was nice to have Hardwick there and Felix, and it was fun. I enjoy having a few people in there to talk about it afterward because it really does help about things you may not even have thought of.
Well, I'd like to thank
It's fun
everybody.
having you there too.
I'd love to thank each and every one of you for being here today while I paint miniatures and talked with Janet about one of my more favorably received movies when I discussed the thought of doing a Clint Eastwood season. Because other guys that do this, and I'm looking at you, Nick Weiser, you're one of my heroes in the YouTube verse. I know you don't have the biggest audience, but you're one of my heroes because you do something so honest. You make a great stream for us on Tuesdays to watch afterwards. And he has Chuck Norris month, and you watch 4 weeks of Chuck Norris movies or 5 weeks of Chuck Norris movies, and by the end of it, you have a beard or whatever. But you've got you've got whole seasons where he does something, and he does his best to make sure you have a good time and listen to the guys talk about the films. And
Mhm.
I just really love the product that he puts out on a weekly basis, and nobody has done a Clint Eastwood season. I'm wanting to go through this all the way. I want to go at least to April and talk about Clint Eastwood season, maybe to May, because there's a lot of high quality movies there.
Yeah, and it's not just spaghetti westerns.
No, no, no. He did
He's got
he did
like
American.
a huge range of movies from every genre, almost, I think.
So
Does he have a horror movie too, or
I
not?
don't know if he did horror, but I know he did the right stuff. Either the right stuff or there was another one about him going into space with the other aging astronauts, and I need to see that. He
Is that
did.
Apollo 11?
I don't know.
I don't know, but he did Gran Torino. I mean, he's just done so many different movies. It's
The,
just amazing. All the ones with the monkey or whatever,
right turn,
every
Clyde.
which way but loose or something.
I don't think he was in Footloose.
Not footloose, every which way but loose.
Oh yes, every
With
which
the
way.
one wife, he ended up
Can't
marrying
believe
one of the women.
Sandra Locke.
Yeah,
We're as much as I don't really like her too much, she'll make an appearance in some of these films. But I really want to see what Clint has for us because there's a lot of great films that he's got throughout his entire career, and not many others have talked about what he's done. Not many people have talked about all the various things that he put his stamp of approval on, and therefore, I want to talk about the westerns. I want to talk about. We already did one movie of his called Where Eagles Dare,
hmm
and that was a really good World War II film, and that's got a scene in it where he basically picks up two MG5s, MP40s, or I believe, and he goes in there with a rifle in each hand, just trying to shoot up the
I
place.
don't remember us reviewing that movie.
It was very early,
I don't remember
very
us doing
early.
that one. You might have done that with Nick Weiser because I don't think we've
Nope,
done.
I did not. It was with you.
Okay,
Hold
I'm gonna look
on,
it up real quick. What was
go
it
ahead.
called again?
Where Eagles Dare, and he did Fistful of Dollars in '64. Next one we get involved with is for a few dollars more. Then we do the good, the bad, and the ugly. Then we got Hang 'em High. I want to do Paint Your Wagon, Two Mules for Sister Sarah, Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah, because I've got that list. I found it. It was in my. I typed it in a girl and got in a movie, and I don't see anything.
Okay, High Plains Drifter.
But you can show me the link if you can find
Yeah.
it
Oh,
where we did it because I don't remember ever seeing that movie.
hold
So
on.
that's why I'm saying I don't remember that. So
We watched it. We reviewed it.
I don't remember us reviewing it.
And for those of you right now that are not watching the garbage ass TV football game, thank you. Seriously. Hey, where's Girl Dynamite movie? There we go. Don't play. All right. Heat. Where is
Where eagles fly? Is that what you call it?
Eagles Dare?
Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah, we did. Part 4 was just one of the guys. 5's Final Countdown. 6 is Great Raid. 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Episode 11 is Where Eagles Dare.
Okay, I'll have to go look because I don't remember it.
I'll give you the link right here.
You could put it in the
chat.
in the private chat. It'll be fine. Then I can copy it and paste it. Oh, you put it in the other chat. Okay. I'll copy link.
There you go. So that movie right there, that was a fantastic movie. Good war film. I think I rated it 75 or 80. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. But there's a lot of Clint Eastwood I want to get through. And I forgot he did Where Eagles Dare. That's a fucking great movie. One of the better acting pieces of Richard Richard Jordan, I believe. I think so. But anyway, yeah, we'll do a Clint Eastwood season maybe till the month of May. There's a lot of us to cover with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get all 5 of the Dirty Harry films. I want to get all 3 of the Dollars trilogy. And then there's some other movies of his that I must watch because everybody says, no, you got to watch this. No, you got to watch that. And I want to. I want to watch all of these. These look like fun movies. And
I just want to interrupt. I'm sorry because when I went through, I was looking for the name, and you don't have the name. You just say episode 11, and you have to go into the details to even know what the movie's about.
The contents of it, yeah.
That's why I couldn't find it, and I was like, I don't see it.
It's okay.
But I'm sorry. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that it's on there.
You're not upsetting me. It's good. Even when you do upset me, usually it's a learning experience for me.
I'm good at upsetting people, I think.
That's all right. I'm a champion of that. For those of you that are still here, all 6+ of you, thank you for being here. My name is Bruce, and here in the next 2 weeks, my life is going to be upset again, as I'll be moving into my permanent home, and look forward for all of you to join me and Janet there. And the command will be established probably within 3 weeks, fully furnished and functional. Thank you. Janet, go ahead and lead us out.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us, and I hope to see you next week. Remember, if you haven't seen the movie and you want to watch it with us, we try to watch the movie in my Discord at 12:30 Central Time is when we usually try to start it. And you can come watch it with us. Just tell me, hey, I would like to watch a movie with you if you're not already in my Discord. And let me know on X or on the Friday Night Shit Show email. That's all it is. It's Friday Night Shit Show at gmail.com. And you can join us. It's a lot of fun. If you have nothing to do on a Sunday. What to do. Thank you. And thank you, Bruce, for putting up with me sometimes.
You're my friend. Part of this, part of the ship, part of the crew. Talk to you later.